Well, Governor, we also have fewer horses and bayonets because the nature of our military's changed.
After the first presidential debate, I said I found that Romney had very clearly won it. After the second debate, that Obama had won it. After this debate, it didn't seem as clear to me at first, but I think Obama definitely pretty handily won this one. I have been discussing the debates in terms of temperament. Temperament meaning the hard to define but crucial quality that a president has, that is the open-mindedness and flexibility and grasp of multitudinous things, and at the same time strength to stand up to the biggest challenges and to crises erupting at any time that are what it takes to do the hardest, most important, most difficult job in the world. The debate took a little while to get going, and for the first half hour they were sort of in the weeds of policy detail, and I didn't really see one candidate prevailing over the other. But then it became clear that what Romney was doing was tacking to the center and agreeing as much as possible, it seemed, with Obama, and that made it hard for Romney to distinguish himself.
You have stuck with Mubarak?
No, I believe, as the president indicated and said at the time, that I supported his action there. I felt that I wish we'd have had a better vision of the future. I wish that looking back at the beginning of the president's term and even further back than that we'd have recognized that there was a growing energy and passion for freedom in that part of the world, and that we would have worked more aggressively with our friend and with other friends in the region to have them make the transition towards a more representative form of government, such that it didn't explode in the way it did. But once it exploded, I felt the same as the president did.
Romney tried to land zingers against Obama, and Obama, without any weak moment, sort of threw them back at him.
Excuse me, our Navy is smaller now than any time since 1917. The Navy said they needed 313 ships to carry out their mission. We're now down to 285. We're headed down to the low 200s if we go through with sequestration. That's unacceptable to me.
I think Governor Romney maybe hasn't spent enough time looking at how our military works. You mentioned the Navy, for example, and that we have fewer ships than we did in 1916. Well, Governor, we also have fewer horses and bayonets because the nature of our military has changed. We have these things called aircraft carriers where planes land on them. We have these ships that go underwater, nuclear submarines.
It could have been almost too condescending, but it wasn't, and it really got picked up on the internet right away and got a lot of attention, and that didn't make Romney look great. Romney said that he would never do anything to hurt the auto industry, and then he started saying something sort of vague about, well, he wanted a kind of bankruptcy that would have allowed them to survive. And Obama came right back in and said, let's look at the record. And it sounded as if we were heading toward another Benghazi moment from the second debate. Not only was Romney stuck in his decision to try to agree with Obama as much as possible, which made it hard to find difference between him and Obama. Where he really attacked Obama and really could attack Obama was on domestic policy. And once again, as in the second debate, he was probably strongest where he was reeling off things that Obama had promised that he could do and hadn't delivered on. But again, as in the second debate, it just sounded negative. And I thought you saw that again in the closing remarks, where Obama came first. And Obama talked about how America will bounce back because America always does. And he did it in that way Obama has of speaking with a kind of real uplift in his voice.
You know, we've been through tough times, but we always bounce back because of our character, because we pull together. And if I have the privilege of being your president for another 4 years, I promise you I will always listen to your voices, I will fight for your families, and I will work every single day to make sure that America continues to be the greatest nation on earth.
Romney began his closing statement by saying, I'm optimistic about our future. But the way he said it, he was sort of saying it as if to say, honest I am, I really am. That's the way it sounded. He just didn't seem to have the positivity and the confidence and the strength in him by the end of the debate that Obama had.
America's going to come back, and for that to happen, we're going to have a president who can work across the aisle. I was in a state where my legislature was 87% Democrat. I learned how to get along on the other side of the aisle. We've got to do that in Washington. Washington is broken. I know what it takes to get this country back, and we'll work with good Democrats and good Republicans to do that. This nation is the hope of the earth. We've been blessed by having a nation that's free and prosperous thanks to the contributions of the greatest generation. They've held a torch for the world to see, a torch of freedom and hope and opportunity. Now it's our turn to take that torch. I'm convinced we'll do it. We need strong leadership. I'd like to be that leader with your support.
He was sort of worn down by the debate. On the other hand, I think Romney looked good just by holding his own throughout the debate, but he never landed any punches. If anybody did, Obama did. Obama looked more cool, more confident, more in command of facts, more staying on point, and staying on points which were points that he had always been making in the past. Romney did seem sort of to be tailoring his message and changing it once again, maybe, and that didn't look great. Now we've been through all three of the debates. It's hard to say what difference this third foreign policy debate will make. My guess would be not a huge one, but nobody can predict the future, so we'll have to wait and see.